Hello, my name is Jamieleigh Womach and I'm on the website mybirdtips.com. And today I'd like to talk to you about how to stop a Moluccan from screaming. A lot of people will tell you to stop your cockatoo from screaming by simply ignoring it, which works if you have a lot of patience. Personally, I prefer to just nick the problem in the bud before it becomes a huge issue. Yes, I, like yourself, have had cockatoos that do excessive screaming, but there's a way to do this and fix it. A lot of times cockatoos are screaming because they're just simply bored, and that's a really hard one to handle if you don't have food finding toys. So what happens is in the wild, birds need to be always mentally stimulated, and this happens naturally by spending 8 hours a day looking for food. They aren't blessed with the ability of having a bowl of food and a bowl of water. In fact, this is actually very damaging to your bird. You're stripping away its core fundamentals of what it would normally spend all day doing. Therefore, it has to entertain itself. How better than to scream at the top of its lungs and just make up this game to see how many times it can get you to come over to the cage. Well, food finding toys really get birds back to nature and get them as close as we really can in a cage setting in captivity and help problem solve the screaming issue of cockatoos. The first one is, this is made apparently bulletproof, and this is really cool. You just simply put your bird's pellets in here or get various treats that your bird likes. Now, that's a plastic peanut. I don't recommend putting peanuts in there. There actually have some studies now that show peanuts can cause different diseases, so try to avoid those, but you could put some cashews, some pellets, and whatever your bird's healthy food is in there. Another great one is the stainless steel one. This is a very difficult one for the bird to figure out, which is good. This is good for them. This goes attached to the cage like this. This part pivots, and you can see in there we've got some various nuts, and this just simply screws on. Now in the beginning, I'll put that on the cage door, but I won't have the top on. That lets the bird know, hey, there's food in here. And then what I'll do in front of the bird, I'll load a treat, one of its favorites. Like one of my cockatoos loves almonds, so I put an almond in there, and I take the little cap, and I just give it just a slight turn, hardly anything. So really, the bird just has to touch it, and it falls off. Then you can tighten that down a little bit more, and the bird will learn to unscrew the top to get in and find the food. Another one, this is a treasure chest. Now, this is a great one to put the bird's food in as well. It has to actually have the exact combination figured out to be able to get this thing to open, and believe it or not, they figure it out faster than I do most of the time. And they'll sit there and mess with these until that drops open and their food's inside. And they spend that time figuring that out to get to the food. There's many different ones. I'm not going to bore you with all the details of this. I think you're starting to see the examples of how this works. These simply, you'd put round pellets in there, and just by moving them around, they have to get the food out. You can see how this will occupy what used to take 10 minutes for your bird to have its meal will actually now spend 8 hours by trying to figure out how to get its food out, just like it would in the wild. Now, word of caution, don't just throw all this in here and expect your bird to figure it out on the first day, because that's not going to happen. You need to approach this slowly and make sure your bird's not losing weight. It will take a little bit of time for it to figure out. I know that there's a lot of information about this, and I can't, unfortunately, squeeze it all into a quick online video, but I hope that this quick tip has helped. If you're interested in knowing more about where to find these toys or some other tips that will help keep your cockatoo from screaming, go over to my website, www.mybirdtips.com, and just put in your email address. I'll send you a video with some free information, absolutely free, and I'll also send you some text and all sorts of different things that will help you get on the right track to being able to have a scream-free cockatoo.